What's up, everybody? Welcome to my car, my Ash Gregoire Chaminade Nissan. Good to be with you on this rainy and very windy Thursday at just past 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Good to be with you. And the Montreal Canadiens shock the world on opening night for the Habs and take it to the visiting Toronto Maple Leafs in a 4-3 final. Cole Caufield with a pair of goals. Sean Monahan looking full value. Kirby Dach with the sick, wide lower body strength on a great wraparound. Jake Allen was fantastic. Kaden Gooley, this guy was on pace to play 24 minutes in the opening night, making his NHL debut. And the first impression couldn't be any better for the Montreal Canadiens. So we've got a lot to talk about. Good to be with you. Thanks for joining me live from my Ash Gregoire Chaminade Nissan. Managed to go out and play 9 holes this morning. Fresh out of the office. I haven't hit a golf ball in just over a week. But let's talk about, first of all, I want to talk about Toronto for a second, right? Because going into this season, fresh off yet another disappointing first-round exit by the Toronto Maple Leafs, Canada's favorite hockey team, it wasn't lost on me, certainly in the offseason, that the Maple Leafs, in their infinite wisdom and their infinite pockets that have no bottom to them, decide that the experiment with Mitch Marner and William Nylander and Austin Matthews and John Tavares, a.k.a. Pajama Boy, Kyle Dubas, and Sheldon Keefe, all looking over their shoulders without any job security. In Toronto's infinite wisdom, they decide Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov are going to be the key to what ails the Toronto Maple Leafs, the reason that why they have not gotten out of the first round of the playoffs since the invention of the automobile. And you saw Matt Murray, Mr. Parking Gate. It's unreal to me that, first of all, the Toronto Maple Leafs decide to do this with their goaltending, and secondly, is this not one of the most baffling aspects of the Montreal Canadiens' 4-3 win over Toronto last night? How soft are the Leafs? Isn't it incredible how lily soft this team is, how soft this organization, how soft their philosophies and their strategies are? Like, I'm grateful every day of my life that I wake up and I don't cheer for this team. And I have never cheered for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I wake up every day. I'm not a spiritual person, but I thank the heavens that I don't cheer for this team. I never have and never will. Because as someone that likes their hockey hard, old school style, if I'm Sheldon Keefe and I'm the Toronto Maple Leafs, I go to the Bell Center and I look, where's Nick Suzuki? Bam! I sock him right in the mouth. Where's Cole Caufield? Bam! I sock him right in the mouth too. And I deal with the fallout afterwards. The Toronto Maple Leafs have to be in the business of sending a message. And what happened? They come to the Bell Center against a team that nobody or their sister thinks anything of this season other than, let's wait and see. I hope they're fun to watch. I hope they're entertaining. That's the only thing I hear from Habs Nation. Oh, please be good. Please be fun. Just compete. Toronto has all the pressure in the world, and they come to the Bell Center and they're flat. Did you notice Austin Matthews yesterday? Did you notice arguably one of the best players in hockey? He is the best goal scorer in hockey today. Outside maybe Connor McDavid. But you know what I'm saying? Did you notice him yesterday? How is that acceptable? How is that acceptable that in your first opportunity to show your teeth, to show who you are, to show the league that we're going to go to the Bell Center, we're going to embarrass a team that everybody thinks is going to be the worst in hockey or right there being the worst in the game, and they cough it up again with under 18 seconds to go in regulation. Josh Anderson with the snipe. Come on. I wake up every day, thank God I do not cheer for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's incredible how soft this team is. And I am here for this. I am here to watch the Maple Leafs all season long because I think it is going to be a catastrophe. And I'm very excited about that because they've completely botched this. I am convinced of it. They've completely botched this. On the other hand, how do you not leave last night's game with the Montreal Canadiens with this glass half full perspective? So let's talk about Cole Caufield. Let's talk about what's going to happen with Cole Caufield. You know, my partner on the morning show, weekdays from 6 to 10 on TSN 690 is Connor McKenna. And, we talked about this subject, Cole Caufield, future contract. When do you pay him? How much do you pay him? Are you comfortable going all in with Cole Caufield to street, or do you want to wait and see and pump the brakes? Because Cole Caufield scored 4 times in the preseason, was electric on the power play, and started his season last night with 2 goals and 2 snipes, 2 nice feeds from Nick Suzuki. That top line the Canadiens had last night, Suzuki, Anderson, Caufield combined for 5 points. Anderson with the game winner. Anderson using his body to create a goal for Sean Monahan. Anderson playing the role of power forward. Nick Suzuki the role of playmaker, visionary. And Cole Caufield playing the role of bona fide sniper. I mean, it all came together. It all came together against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And so when you look at Cole Caufield, the takeaway after last night and after his preseason was this guy is on the cusp of exploding in terms of being a star. And my partner's opinion, Connor McKenna's opinion, was give him Nick Suzuki money. You're all in with Cole Caufield. And obviously, I was hesitant. I wasn't, all in on Cole Caufield. 2 goals in his season debut. Yes, very good, fantastic. It's exactly what you want. Shoot the puck, shoot the puck, shoot the puck. Who cares what happens on defense when Cole Caufield's out there on the ice? But I'll be honest. As much as I like Cole Caufield, as much as I believe in this guy as a pure goal scorer, I want him to stay hungry. I want him to stay hungry. And if that means that I'm going to end up paying more and it's going to cost me in the long run, it's a price I'm willing to pay. Like you ever go to a nice restaurant, a really nice restaurant, and you're like, God damn, why is this dish so expensive? Why? I can make this tortellini rosé at home. Yeah, you can. You can do that. But sometimes paying for something a little extra just makes it all taste so good. Like when you know for sure that you're going to go to this restaurant and this dish that's going to be prepared by an amazing chef, and you're going to get your money's worth. You're not going to leave there disappointed. I'm not saying you're going to leave there disappointed with Cole Caufield, but you can't tell me for certain today that this is the next great goal scorer in the National Hockey League. He might be. I like his chances, but he's not there yet. And I want my guy to stay hungry. I want him to stay hungry. I want him to chase that contract. I want him to chase those millions, chase those goal totals. And if that means, as I said already, if that means I got to pay this kid more money, it's a price I'm willing to pay. Lots of texts coming in today. Thank you. Jocelyn. Hey, Sean, did you get that illegal parking ticket? Apparently it's going to come in the mail. I got into it with a green onion in my last video blog. I was parked in my driveway, and he rolled up to me. He's like, you can't park here. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm waiting for someone. She's going to come in the car and we're going to take off. And it's my house. I'm just parked right here. Oh, you can't stay here. And I basically told him to F off. And then he quickly, like anybody with an ounce of authority, they love to exercise it. One of my biggest pet peeves in life, you give someone a small amount, a minute amount of power, and man, do they run with it. That's a green onion boy in downtown Montreal. So yeah, I'm going to get a parking ticket. I don't know what it is anymore. I haven't gotten a parking ticket in forever, $80, 45. I don't know what it is anymore, but it is what it is. It is what it is. The guy just could have been cool, could have let me go. I was in and out of there in 5 minutes, but he wants to be a dick. Fine. It's okay. I could be one too. Rick Springhetti, what it do, Rick? Impressive seeing how confident some of the youngsters were. First NHL game against Toronto, national TV home opener, and they were not rattled at all. Great take, Rick Springhetti. And which takes us to Kaden Gooley, right? Kaden Gooley was on pace for 24 and a half minutes last night, settled for 22 and a half. But I loved Kaden Gooley's mental approach to his NHL debut yesterday. He's a 21-year-old kid. And as much as, we're excited about Cole Caufield, the possibility of Cole Caufield being a huge, big-time goal scorer, I'm more excited about the possibility of Kaden Gooley. I love defense. I'm not going to lie. I love defense. I know how hard it is to be good at that task. And Kaden Gooley's mental approach to that game when he was asked by a couple of Montreal reporters in the lead up to his debut, and he said, just another day at the office. I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to let the game come to me. I mean, I can't imagine. It's unrelatable. When I was 21 years old, man, I was just this ball of energy. It amazes me to see how these younger players, now that I'm a bit older, and, I can relate to being 21, 22. Now that I'm 44, I'm like, how was I when I was 21? How was I when I was 19 or whatever else? I wasn't anywhere close to the maturity level that Kaden Gooley has shown or Nick Suzuki has shown. I am so enamored with the mental game more than I am with the physical game. How these guys sort their minds, how they organize themselves, how some players aren't really affected by the pressure. I'm amazed by it. I'm in awe, and I love seeing a guy like Kaden Gooley, who's 21 years old, who in these crazy moments is just calm, makes good decisions. It's nice to have a veteran partner that you can lean on, that if you do make a mistake, that someone like David Savard is there to kind of bail you out of that. That's nice. It's a nice little mix to have, but there's no doubt, like, David Savard wasn't covering for Kaden Gooley. I mean, Gooley's just mental approach, the calmness in his game was just admirable. And it makes you, it should make you happy as a Canadiens fan that Marc Bergevin didn't leave Montreal naked. He didn't leave the cupboards bare. And that some of these guys that Marc Bergevin and Trevor Timmins and the previous regime decided to draft and decided to, put some effort into being a part of the organization, you got to call it down the middle. Not the biggest Bergevin guy, but, they're part of the regime that drafted, identified Kaden Gooley. And I think Kaden Gooley is a superstar in the making. So yeah, it was all good. Christian Dvorak had a sound game, a good 200 responsible game yesterday. Jake Allen was fantastic. As I mentioned, Kirby Dach, very strong as well. Arbor Xhekaj, for as much as we enjoyed seeing what he did in the preseason and how tough he is, how smart he is, plays a good physical edge game, which the Canadiens don't have enough of. I think you saw yesterday that maybe Arbor Xhekaj isn't necessarily ready for an everyday shift at the NHL level. Again, 12 minutes and change is what he got yesterday, and one game under his belt. He got burned a couple of times by some fast Toronto Maple Leaf skaters. Ultimately ended up not costing the Canadiens because Jake Allen was spectacular on that penalty shot save. But nevertheless, that could have, the Canadiens did make some mistakes, and they are going to happen. So let's not get crazy here. Let's not get crazy after one game that the Montreal Canadiens took it to the very soft. It's crazy. I love the fact that the Toronto Maple Leafs came to Montreal in the season opener and lost that game in regulation 4-3 on a Josh Anderson winner as the Canadiens go to Detroit on Friday, right? And so while we talk about Cole Caufield, and I'm still I believe in Cole Caufield. I think Cole Caufield's going to be a Montreal Canadien for a long time. I'm just not here to tell you today that I'm ready to go 8 years max contract for Cole Caufield. Like I said, I want Caufield to stay hungry. I want him to chase those millions, chase that long-term contract, and chase those goals, and be the answer to a trivia question. Who was the last 50-goal scorer for the Montreal Canadiens? How about Cole Caufield as an answer? Instead of, no disrespect, Stefan Richer, maybe someone else now. The last 100-point guy in Habs to play for the Montreal Canadiens? Mats Naslund. Maybe it's time for another name. Now, look, I don't think we're going to get a 100-point guy this year. I don't think we're going to get a 50-goal guy yet this year, but you can't say it's not going to happen. Nick Suzuki, to me, looks like a point-a-game guy. Cole Caufield looks like he's going to score goals in bunches. And if Josh Anderson can find consistency and bring a little bit more power forward on a regular basis to his game, the Montreal Canadiens, my friends, I'm here to tell you, are going to have a very dominant first line at the NHL level with Suzuki, Caufield, Anderson. Now you've got Brendan Gallagher, who looks a lot more energized. Brendan Gallagher playing down your order on the right side there. So yes, it's all happening, all of this, while Jonathan Drouin and that sexy turtleneck watching as healthy scratches. What'd you guys think of that pregame show yesterday? We had a little bit of a differing opinion on the TSN 690 morning show. I'm a sucker for it. I'm going to be honest. I'm a sucker for it. I'm a sucker for the torch. I'm a sucker for the player introductions. I'm a sucker for the nostalgia. I thought Carey Price looked amazing. I think Carey Price's look is super cool. He had that nice suit, little vest, black cowboy hat, very George Strait. I thought it was very badass. I think he rocks that look, and it was emotional. Like, I don't hide the fact that I'm a Carey Price guy. I'm a goaltender guy. Have been my entire hockey life, and I think we saw, and I think some fans saw perhaps the end, and Carey Price gave a wonderful interview to Arpon Basu of The Athletic, and he talked about how there's this surgery that I guess is still on the table, but it could be the equivalent that pitchers go through in baseball with Tommy John surgery. It could be that for his knee, which he says isn't great, which takes me to Stefan Wade. If you remember back in the early July, I was here in my car talking to you like I am right now about what Stefan Wade, the ex-Canadiens goaltender, had told me about Carey Price. When he told me that him and Price are still super tight, they talk on the regular, and that Carey Price told him that his knee was doing well, and that Price told Wade that he was going to be good to go. And then Wade tells me to my face, looks me in the eye and tells me that he would bet his money and good money on Price being ready to start in October for this year. I said, wow, that's amazing. He goes, yeah, he had a little bit of a cleanup in New York, which I believe was confirmed by the organization. So at least that part of the information that was given to me that I relate to you was accurate. But I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that, and I kid you not, when I saw Arpon Basu of The Athletic had a sit down, a one-on-one with Carey Price, and I read the article, and I read the obviously the takeaway there that Price's career is probably over, and that his knee isn't great. And I was like, what happened there? What happened? Like, was I lied to? Did he make it up to impress me? Like, I'm all about the angles. I'm all about trying to figure stuff out and the reasons why or why not. And I don't know why. Unless, like, I want to take people at face value. I want to take them at their word, and I want to believe that I'm talking with people that aren't full of shit, that, have nothing to gain by telling nonsense, that maybe Carey Price in July felt good and felt strong. And he thought, playing with his kids, and he said, oh, man, maybe my knee is good. And then maybe if he put it under more tests and more pressure, that's when he saw that, maybe it's not that good. And then things changed there. I don't know. But that's, that's me giving Stefan Wade the benefit of the doubt. Like, I have a hard time rationalizing why Stefan Wade, who barely knows me, and I barely know him, why he would come out and try to be a big shot. And it's not like he took command of the room and said, hey, everybody, look at me. Here's what you're not going to believe this about Carey Price. That's not how it happened. It was like a one-on-one private conversation, and here we are. And now, it was emotional. I thought it was emotional. And I think the fans maybe weren't expecting it and were surprised to see Carey Price there. And then ultimately, Price I think if Price had stayed there, and a few people have pointed this out, I think if he had stayed with the ovation, we probably see Carey Price cry, and we probably see the ovation last. But Carey Price is going to be back. Carey Price will be back, and he'll get his love more so than what he got yesterday. And I loved it. I liked the ceremony. I'm for the torch. I don't think it's hokey. I like the tradition. I'm an old school guy that way. So you're not going to hear me complain about Nick Suzuki with all those guys around him at center ice. He's the captain of the Canadiens. From failing hands, we pass the torch for you to carry. Boom. Lock it down. Let's go, baby. Canadiens in Motown on Friday. Back in action on Saturday. Back in action on Monday against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So a very busy week. Lickety split here. So are you leaving the door open at all? At all? Like a crack, a hair? For this Canadiens team to be good at all, period? Like, I know one game isn't the be-all, end-all. It was a rivalry game. The building was energized. The players were energized. Martin St. Louis was energized. So they had all this momentum, all this feel-good energy, all this adrenaline going in their favor, and they won the game with under 18 seconds to go in regulation. But look, where did you have the Canadiens in their division? Where did you have the Canadiens in the East? I had them in 8th place. I had them in 8th place. I had them in last place in the Eastern Conference. And one game, no. I'm not changing my mind, even though I love the game. And that's all basically, I'm here to tell you, you give me more games like that. High energy, no quit, physical, good stops, nice goals, nice snipes, and we're going to have a fun season together. But here's what I think ultimately is going to happen. I think the Montreal Canadiens are going to play hard. They're going to play fast, up-tempo hockey, inspired hockey with Martin St. Louis, and then they're going to hit a wall. And the wins and the losses and the points, I think, are going to fall off a cliff. The dog days of the season, Juraj Slafkovsky, 18 years old, Kaden Gooley, 21 years old. Look, they're playing 4 games, lickety split here, just like that. The reality is going to hit this team fast and furious with Kaden Gooley and all these younger players that they're giving an honest look to. But it's all about growth. Show me, show the fan base, show your coaches, show your managers that we're moving in a forward direction. And I think if this organization with these young players give them the chance to do that, things are going to be fine. But yes, I am not leaving the door open for the Montreal Canadiens to climb up to 13th or be finished with more points than Buffalo in the Atlantic Division. I don't see it happening. I really think adrenaline, energy, naivete at this point of their careers. I think it's gonna work for the Canadiens until it doesn't, and I think that's ultimately what's going to happen. It's going to be a dogfight. But as long as the Canadiens are fun, you're going to keep this market, because I got to tell you, it's a 180 in terms of what the fans on the street and what I'm hearing. Like last year, it's almost like people had an allergic reaction to the Canadiens. Hey, you want tickets? Oh, you break out in highs. Now I'm hearing from season ticket holders, people are emailing them, texting them, hey, what are you doing with your tickets on Saturday night? What are you doing with your tickets next week? Fans are happy with the direction that this club is taking, and I understand why. Ken Hughes and Jeff Gordon and Martin St. Louis have shown you and given you enough reason for you to trust them, to be optimistic about what's to come. Like Martin St. Louis delivered a great line yesterday in the aftermath of his team's win over Toronto when he talked about, Arbor Xhekaj made a couple of mistakes. A couple of guys made some mistakes. A lot of turnovers in the game yesterday, right? Toronto too. But he said along the lines, it's a teaching moment. It's not a glue your ass to the bench moment. I was like, oh my God, how much fresh air could possibly be breathed into one room by one voice? It was incredible to me. And it's one of those head scratchers. What took so long? Why was this so difficult to get? Why was this so difficult to understand? Why was it such a challenge for some people inside the Canadiens organization that were once here to be modernized? I mean, it was really an uphill battle, but who cares? That was then. This is now, and the Montreal Canadiens are moving forward in a really good direction. And back in action tomorrow on TSN 690 at 7 o'clock against the Detroit Red Wings. Thursday Night Football tonight, Commanders and Chicago Bears live on TSN 690. Liking the under in this game. It's a pick-up game. Give me Washington to win. I'm just going to take the better passing quarterback. And I know the Bears' defense has been pretty good, but I'm expecting something from Carson Wentz tonight after his defensive coordinator coach, Riverboat Ron Rivera, who in 13 years has had 2 winning seasons, and he's Riverboat Ron the Gambler. Get out of here, defensive coach, throwing a quarterback under the bus. What about Washington's 29th or 30th ranked scoring defense? What about the fact that Washington doesn't have a run game? Look what you're making me do, Riverboat Ron. You're making me defend Carson Wentz. My gosh. So yeah, give me Carson Wentz to beat my Chicago Bears in Thursday Night Football. It's a pick-em game. Give me the under in this one. You can bet it over at themisoje.com. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the comments, you guys. Appreciate the love, as always. Don't forget, you can always watch, subscribe, and comment. I'll do my best to react to some of your comments as they start to come in. Okay, In the Car with Star, brought to you, as always, by Ash Gregoire, Shawman and Nissan, LittleBearOnline.com, and K-Stop Gas Bar, Depiner, Highway 138 in Ganawage.